If you build a new building today, the tenants in that building are not going to be protected under our statute for the next 15 years because we don't want to disincent investments in housing. I very much appreciate it.
And many of our members depend on the money they get from the rental property to supplement their retirement.
You understand that there's a need for a solution here. I mean, there are people that are facing rent increases in a very demanding housing market.
Mine is going to deploy millions of dollars of capital to build multifamily housing when they're going to be subject to price controls after just a 15-year period.
Because they don't get their money out.
They won't get their fair return, and we're already seeing the bad effects of this.
Hello, this is Luke Jones with Luke Jones Real Estate Experts. So what does that mean for you? So go visit our other blog that we did on AB 1482 to get a broader understanding of what this piece of legislation is. But essentially it's going to mean that properties that are multi-unit properties, duplex, triplex, fourplex, multi-unit residential income properties will now have a rent cap of 5% per year plus inflation will be the maximum, and I think it's also a maximum of 10% in any given 12-month period or something of that nature, but essentially 5%. And then what it also is going to mean is that you now have to give just cause to tenants should you wish to vacate that unit for any reason. So you can't just vacate tenants willy-nilly. So it gives them a lot more rights that tenants would have with normal LA rent control, which we're all familiar with, which is for properties constructed prior to 1979. This will now affect newer properties, except for those ones that are in fact less than 15 years old. So that's an important thing here, that if you have a new property or a new construction, this AB 1482 legislation will not affect you for 15 years, but any property that is older than 15 years will now have this rent cap imposed on it. Now, here's the most important thing to bear in mind is that this is a very, very, very robust leasing market. There are tons of tenants that are paying great prices to live in Los Angeles. There is a housing shortage, no question. But I was speaking to one of my colleagues today who's just like the wizard on all this stuff, and he's awesome. And he was kind of making a great analogy with the 405 freeway. So you'll remember when they had like the 405 freeway expansion, everyone was like, yes, it's going to mean that the 405 is easy. Guess what? No, it's not. It's still crazy. And the reason is because despite the fact that they were widening the 405 freeway, more and more people, now that they know that the freeway is wider, are using the freeway. So it's kind of very much like our housing situation here. The fact of the matter is that if we build more housing stock, more people are going to want to live here. If you impose new rent control rules, or if you reduce the kind of the risks for tenants, or you make the apartments cheaper for tenants, more people are going to move here. So essentially it's really not going to affect the really strong rental income property market that we have. It's just really important that you understand now what the rules are. That's the key. So don't be frightened, don't be scared, just understand what the legislation means. So I thought what would be handy is we'll post in this article, this blog article on social media, we'll post the legislation as a link. Read it, get educated, that's really important. And then of course, if you would like to use us and work with me to help you with your real estate, whether that's buying or selling, investing, and indeed through our boutique leasing agency, Home Rentals LA, feel free to give me a call, 310-435-4774. Find us at lukejonesre.com and at our social media channels at lukejonesre, and then for our boutique leasing agency at Home Rentals LA. And we look forward to being of service. Thanks and have a great day.